Okay, right. So out here, just a minute. Yeah, the first question is what all will be taught in the course. Look, I'll be covering everything about Selenium WebDriver. Basically, we'll be covering Java, WebDriver, frameworks, Maven, and TestNG, Jenkins, Grid, and all. We'll be covering everything. Okay, and you will also have access to the videos which we record in this course. And apart from that, you will have access to set of pre-recorded sessions. Okay, which are there on qtpselenium.com. You can visit qtpselenium.com, and under Selenium Training course you will see set of pre-recorded sessions which will be there. Okay, you will get access to all the 44 modules listed on the website. Okay, do you record the current sessions? Yes, we do record, and you will get the access to the recordings as well. Okay, right. Is Java required? Fine. Java is required. Yes, it is certainly required. You cannot do away with Java. Fine. And you know, at times people come to me. Okay, those guys, they have got slight knowledge of Java. They don't have a very good knowledge of Java, and they think that they know Java and they can do Selenium. Right? It is not possible. Okay, it is not possible. You can never learn Selenium, right, without having access to good knowledge of object oriented programming, because object oriented programming is required. Alright, fine. The next question which almost everybody has is, I need help in my project and I need help to clear an interview. So how do you do that? Okay, right. Well, it's pretty simple. Look, to learn this tool, it takes 10 days. But to learn it to a level where you can clear an interview, it takes time. Okay, right. So you have to give it time. Right. So you have to look, if you want to be a professional, if you want to reach a level where you can actually work in a company, and if you are given a project, right, you can do the project, right. So to reach that level, it takes around 6 to 7 weeks of regular practice. Okay, right, fine. So out here, if you are taking a decision to join this training, you have to be very regular. Okay, ID is not included in this, Ankit. I'll tell you about ID. It is a simple tool. We give you pre-recorded sessions in which ID can be used. Okay, right, fine. Now, what is the duration of the course? It takes around 6 to 7 weeks, or nearly 30 hours, right. So 30 hours to actually complete this course. Okay, fine, right. So 50% of the time is given to WebDriver, Java, TestNG, Grid, and 50% of the time we'll give to the projects. Okay, now what is a project? Project is basically a framework, and that is the ultimate goal of this training, that we will be learning how to build a framework. Okay, could you also provide some kind of live project? This is a very common question. Look, project is basically a framework, and we'll be learning frameworks. There are different types of frameworks. Okay, right. Each single thing in the course will be covered. Yes, each and everything will be covered. Here is the link to the sheet, which I am referring. You can have this link on the chat. On this chat, there is a link. Okay, right. So fine, right. So you can open this URL and you can have a look at the day-wise syllabus as well. I have divided the complete training into day-by-day syllabus, and that will have a very clarity, we'll follow this Excel file. Right, right. Anybody with any questions before I start with the course? Before I start with the course, anybody with any questions? Okay, there's a question being asked. Okay, when do I need to connect to Skype? Look, I'll be forming the Skype group next week once the finalized students are there. We'll form a Skype group in which you can have off class discussion as well. Okay, fine. In companies, we usually work in frameworks or what? Ankit, definitely in every company, when you, I'll just copy the questions as well so that everybody can see it. There are few questions being asked. In companies, usually work in frameworks or what? Yes, we do work in frameworks in companies. Okay, right. There is no way that you can do without frameworks. Okay, right. If you look at framework, what it is, I'll discuss with you. How long we have to practice each day? This is another question. Look, minimum 8 weeks, 2 hours a day. It's a dedicated stuff you need to do. Okay, right. Then another question is, there's no question. Look, the question that in companies we usually work in a framework or what? Yes, you do work in a framework. What is a framework? Let me tell you, what is the objective of this course? What is the framework? Okay, many people ask that, do you don't know how to build a framework? Or many people must be having the question, what is a framework? Building a framework is the objective of this course. Look, when you have got manual test cases, you want to automate them. Okay, you want that, fine. You have your, hold on, you have your test cases. Okay, these are your test cases. You want to run these test cases in a serial order. These are your scripts, Selenium scripts. Okay, each script is for one test case. Or you sometimes you want to skip a particular test case through automation and you want to run the rest of them. Alright, fine. Or what happens is that you have a requirement that you have an Excel file. You want to read the data from the Excel file into the test cases. Or sometimes people use properties file or XML file as well. Apart from that, you need to have a proper HTML report generated. When you're doing automation, when you have got multiple test cases with you, okay, when your scripts are running in an automated way, you need to know everything. You need to have reports which can tell you the status of every test case which was executing. Or you need to have proper logs. If the script was running for 10 hours, what happened at each and every moment in each and every test case? If the test case is failing, or even if it is not failing, you might need screenshots of some pages in the reports so that you can actually see what happened to the script. Because when the script runs, nobody sits in front of the PC. The script runs and it keeps on running. You have a dedicated machine for that. Alright, apart from that, there are various other things, but to facilitate all this stuff, we use TestNG or JUnit or BDD. These are controllers. Okay, what each of them does is, it is or either you use TestNG or JUnit or BDD. These are centralized controllers. They will read the data from external file. They will call the test cases in the specific order. Okay, they will generate reports, they will generate logs, they will generate screenshots. Okay, right? Fine. So they act as a centralized controller. If you talk about Selenium, then Selenium as a tool is only inside this red box. Right? Okay. Selenium as a tool is only inside this red box. Fine. So Selenium will never help you to read the data from Excel file. It will never help you to generate reports. When I say that generating reports, I mean reports like these. Okay, reports like these. These are XSLT reports. We'll see how to generate them. Okay, so they have got description of every test case. For example, when this test case was running, starting the test, opening the browser, and it has got everything. Even the screenshot can be embedded in the reports. Okay, so Selenium will not help you to do that. These centralized controllers, TestNG, JUnit or BDD, you will have to learn. So this is the objective of the course. Apart from that, you have to connect it to Jenkins and all everything. Okay, and there are different, and this whole scenario is known as a framework. And there are different frameworks. Fine. There are different frameworks like keyword driven, hybrid, page object model, data driven. Okay, BDD means behavior driven development like Cucumber and all, Ankit. You'll come to know. You'll come to know. Okay, right. Fine. So there are few questions being asked. Okay, there's a first question is, as a part of the testing team, do we need to create frameworks or can we use the available frameworks and customize? Look, it depends. If the project is starting from the beginning, you will have to, create your own framework. Okay, if you are joining in between, you will get an inbuilt framework. It completely depends. Okay, right. So I hope you understood my point. Fine. Okay, right. So out. Please keep your mics on mute. If you have any questions, you can ask. Now, there's a question being asked, will we learn all the frameworks? Well, we will learn all the frameworks. Well, there are different frameworks. Okay, I'll tell you. Look, guys, please be with me. This is the first class. There are people having lot of doubts. Look, as I was telling you, in the training, you'll get access to the videos. In videos, I have covered all the frameworks. For example, the data-driven framework, I have covered it in 8 hours. Okay, page object model framework, I have covered it in 6 to 7 hours out here. Then you have got the hybrid framework, again I have covered it in 8 hours. So as a trainer, it is next to impossible to teach you all the frameworks in one session, because when I teach it, I have to, go in depth. So I'll be covering one framework in the class. The rest of them you can do it from the pre-recorded videos. Okay, as I said that in the training, 50% of our time will go in a project or a framework. Okay, right. Now, anybody else with any other question before I start off? Okay, right. Now, let us start with the training. This, uh, if you go by the course details, day 1 basically means the first hour of the training, day 2 means the second hour of the training. Every day, every Saturday and Sunday, we'll be having a 2-hour session. Okay, right. So, right now, let us start with day 1, the introduction. I have covered the course FAQs, brief history of Selenium, where it is going, and what are the futures of what is the future of learning this tool and all. Let's cover that, because if you have decided to invest your time and focus on Selenium, then let me tell you briefly about it and what are the advantages of learning this tool and where this tool is going in the future. Right. Look, initially I have been working on this tool since past almost 10 years. Right. When this tool came up in the market, there were 3 components. Okay. The first component was known as Web Selenium RC. The second one IDE, and third one is GRID. Look, if you talk about IDE, it is still there, but to be very honest, it's a useless tool. Okay, useless tool because it's actually it actually works on Mozilla. Okay, and it generates no reports. It's a plugin in Mozilla. It's a record and run tool. If you have got 1000 test cases, you can never use IDE, and you cannot do cross-browser testing. It is still used by some companies, but it is not recommended to use IDE. Okay, the second tool is Selenium RC. Okay, Selenium RC is primarily it was working on all browsers. That was the important thing, and tester had to learn a programming language like Java or C# or Python, Ruby, Perl. There were various programming languages it was available in, and the tester had to learn that language. Okay, right. So it was a bit difficult for testers, but there is no alternative available, right? And grid was something which could run your test cases parallelly. You can make a central machine and you can connect the different machines to the central machine and you can run the test cases parallelly, and this was grid. Now RC as a tool had certain drawbacks. I cannot explain those drawbacks in the class. I don't want to go in that. So that is why in somewhere near August, it was August 2011, WebDriver came up, WebDriver 2.0. This was not a migration from RC to WebDriver, it was a completely new tool with new commands. Okay, right? People who knew WebDriver, they could never understand RC, and people who knew RC, they could never understand WebDriver. Okay, right. And this was there for 5-6 years, and now you have got last year in August, September again, WebDriver 3 came up, and this was a migration. WebDriver from 2 to 3, WebDriver 3 came up. In this class, we'll be studying about WebDriver 3, but we'll also see that WebDriver 3 is unstable. Okay, look, first of all, if you go to the official website of Selenium, which is seleniumhq.org, the first line says that Selenium automates browsers. It is a automation testing tool which is primarily for web-based automation. Okay, it's not for desktop application. If you go to the download section over here, and you will find that for Java, this is the changelog. Changelog file, it tells you how this tool has been changing over a period of time. The current version is 3.4. Okay, and if you scroll down, there was a version 2.53. This was the most stable version of Selenium WebDriver, and it was the final release of 2.x. After 2.53, the version 3.0 came up, and there were so many bugs in this that still the bug fixes are going on till 3.4. So if you are working in a company and if you have a project handy with you, I would suggest you to use 2.53 because it's stable. When 3.0 is stable or 3.x is stable, you can migrate to that, and when you are migrating, there are no major code changes. That is the better part. Okay, because all the commands of 2.53 are supported in 3. Alright, fine. So in this training, we'll see both the versions, and then we'll obviously use the stable one. Okay, right. IDE is still there in the market. The versions have changed, but I will not teach you IDE in this class. You can refer IDE from the pre-recorded videos. It's a very simple tool and nobody uses it professionally. If you go for an interview, I don't think so any good interviewer will ask questions on IDE. We will be covering GRID. Okay, GRID now is GRID 3. It's changed a lot. Okay, we'll see how to run the test cases parallelly. Alright, now advantages of learning this tool, Selenium. Look, Selenium we will be learning in Java language. You will be getting a knowledge of Java language in this course. Now, once you learn Selenium, you have the knack of Java. The advantage is that learning other tools like Appium, which is a very good tool for mobile automation, or learning a tool like SoapUI, which is also in a lot of demand, and it tests web services, or learning a tool like JMeter, which is for load testing, or load runner. Learning all these tools, look, it becomes easy because you have that programming background with you after learning Selenium. Alright, initially every person, 90% of the people coming to us, they don't have a programming background or a programming background of object-oriented programming. So I would say that fine, there's nothing to be scared because people are generally scared of it. It is not very tough. It's something which takes time, as I told you. Right. Okay. So now moving ahead, this was the brief history of Selenium and the future. The future is there. Okay, I'm seeing this tool since 10 years and I don't think so it will go anywhere. It's almost captured the entire market. Okay, it will evolve into different forms, but it will still be there. Why is Java important? Look, and you cannot learn this tool without Java. If you go to the official website of Selenium, there is a Java doc link over here. This is the official documentation of Selenium. Okay, right. So the official documentation of Selenium is completely object oriented. Okay, it is completely object oriented in nature. Fine. Alright, so out here we will be studying the object oriented programming. It is very important. Okay, now introduction to Java. I think everybody must be knowing about Java because you guys must have fiddled with Selenium here and there and tried to learn it. But there are people from the background. I have to tell few things, right? So the first thing is you need to install JDK. Go to Google and type download JDK. Alright, and you will get Java SE downloads. Okay, go to this link. Right, you click on the download button and you will be taken to the next page where you can download, you can accept the license agreement, and you can download the exe file for your corresponding operating system. This is 32 bits, this is 64 bits, right? It's completely up to you. Fine. Okay. Now, once you have downloaded it, once you have installed this, all right, you can check whether Java is installed properly or not. You can open a fresh command prompt and type Java. So you'll get a message something like this. That means it's perfectly installed. The second thing is you need to download the editor for Java language, which is Eclipse. You can go to Google and download Eclipse. You can download any version for Eclipse, Mars, Neon, Luna. There are different versions. You can download any, that is not a problem. Okay, right? So once you download it, this is the link. Okay, out here it comes as a bundle, right? So this bundle is in my PC. You when you extract the zip file, you'll get a folder like this, and in this you will have the main exe file which you need to start. Most of you must be knowing about this, but I'm just telling you. Right now, as far as hold on, this launch space work. Yeah, this is the launch window. You need to correct the path. This is the path of your workspace. Okay, the workspace means the place where you will be storing all the code. So in our class we will be storing the code in the location Selenium April 2017 weekend. Okay, we'll be storing the code at this location, and hold on, let it start. Right, this is the welcome screen of Eclipse. Fine, so this is the project explorer where we will be keeping the code and all. Right, you can make a new project from file, new Java project option. Okay, you go to file, new, and go to other. Okay, under other you will have the option out here Java, and you can select a new Java project. Okay, and click on next, and I'll give this project name as day 1, right, and you click on the finish button. Right, click on yes, and fine. So this day 1 project is created. If you expand this, you'll find GRE system library. GRE system library is nothing but Java which is installed on your system. JDK which is installed. It comes with various jar files. I'll tell you about jar files, what they are. If you right click on the project, you'll see the lot of options. We'll be using them. We'll be using the properties option most of the times. It's very important. If you click on properties options, you get all these windows. Okay, all these options, sorry, not windows. If you look at this Java build path option, you will be using this a lot. In the resource option, you will have the path of the project on hard drive. Okay, if you go to this actual path, you will be able to relate it to Eclipse. The source folder, you will be able to see it. It is there in Eclipse as well. Rest of the things you are not getting. Class path, project, these are Eclipse specific files. Don't delete them, just keep them as it is. Basically, we'll be looking at the source folder, and all the Java files and all, we'll be making them in source, and you can right click on it and make a new class. Right click on the source folder, make a new class. Class means a Java file, and I will just name it basics of Java. Okay, click on this option public static void main. Fine. And a class will be formed. You hold on, let me increase the font size. Just a minute. Now, I am assuming out here, I am assuming that you know basics of programming. I am assuming that you know basics, loops and all. Okay, out here this is the class generated. It's got the main function, what static is, what public is. All these things will be covered later on. Okay, just accept these as they are. Sorry. Every programming language has this main function. Even C, C++, anything where the control comes up for the first time. So you can print something inside it. You can write system.out.println. This is the command to print something in Java. And I'll just print hello Selenium. And you can run this program from this run button. Okay, when you run it, you'll get the output in the console window, hello Selenium. System.out.println is the command. The shortcut is you type SYSO and hit control and spacebar of the keyboard. You'll get it. Okay, SYSO plus control spacebar. Now I am assuming, look, I am assuming that you know basic things, that what an integer is, what a string is. Okay, what do you mean by boolean? It's either true or false. You know what if statement is. You know what for loop is. Right? Fine. So for loop, what while loop is. Okay, if you are not coming from that background where you don't even know these things, then I would request you to be a little patient and not join the training directly. Buy the access to our videos first. On our website, we have got pre-recorded sessions which start from the very basics of programming like if statement and for loops. Okay, so you can watch these videos, video 1, 2, the first 7 videos are only on Java. They are very elaborate, and people who have registered for the training, who have already paid for the training, I would request you that please at least watch these 7 modules. They cover Java in a more elaborate way than I am teaching in this course. Okay, for example, if you look at this training video 2, it's for 1 hour and you have these, every video is very elaborate. Okay, fine. Now, but this doesn't mean that in the class I'll not be doing that. I'll obviously do that. I'll make sure that you understand. Right. So out here I'm assuming you know basic things. My goal is to make you understand OOPS now, object oriented programming. Okay. Right. Now before I move forward, if you right click on the day 1 project, you will have the properties and you will have resource where you will have the path of the project. If I go to this path, you will have the source folder having this Java file which I just created. Okay, and there will be a bin folder in which you have this class file. Class file, when you open it, you will not be able to understand. Every Java file is converted to class file at compile time. This class file is like exe file. If I create one more class known as Selenium Basics, and inside it I just print starting Selenium, and I run this code, it will print in the console starting Selenium, and in the bin folder you will see the class file generated corresponding to the Java file. Alright, fine. So alright, Any questions from anyone? Now what this class file is, I'm going to tell you. Well, if you have a client and he says that give me the code and all, or I have to do the deployment, then we use these class files. These class files are like exe files. Okay, now what happens is that when you have a project, in a project there are multiple class files, because there are multiple Java files. Every Java file will be converted to a class file. Okay, and if I have to deliver these class files to the client, if I've got 1000 class files, then we zip all these class files in a single file, and that is known as a jar file. Jar file contains many classes which you can use. For example, out here, this is GRE system library. Okay, this is GRE system library. This GRE system library is something, just a minute, there's a question. Okay, there's a question being asked that after installing Java, do we need to say? No, there's no need, just install JDK. Another question was being asked, I missed it. What is NetBeans? Yes, NetBeans is another editor like Eclipse. You can use it. Okay, right, fine. Now, if you look at this JRE system library, it's got various jar files. Java is nothing but collection of various jar files. When you install Java, these jar files, they come onto your machine. And you can use the inbuilt features which are there in these jar files. For example, if I just print over here system.out.println new date, I create the object of a class known as date, and I run the program, it will print the current date, time, everything. Okay, it will print time, date, everything. What is new, what is this, just forget about it right now. Okay, you will have to import it. You'll see the error and you'll have to move the mouse over the error and import java.util.date. This date class is present in one of these jar files. Each of these jars has got, if you expand them, you will see a lot of class files. This date file is present somewhere and I have used it, and without any, I never had to write any code to calculate the date. So I use the internal features. And that's what Selenium is all about. There is no rocket science. You don't have to invent something. Everything is inbuilt. Okay, you have to learn the inbuilt code. Yes, not objects, but the classes are there in the jar files which you have to use. Everything in Selenium is inbuilt. You have to know which class to use where, which function to use where, which functionality to use where, and that's what this training will guide you. They have built everything Selenium, guys. Okay, all you need to do is that you need to go to the website of Selenium, seleniumhq.org. Okay, and you have to if you go to this download section, if you scroll down, you will see this download link for the current version 3.4. You download this. Okay, you download this current version. Every day the version changes. Yesterday it was, I think, 3.3.8 or something. I'm not remembering. They are changing it very. Yeah, see that last change date is 21st. Yesterday I was seeing some other version. So they are fixing it. They are fixing a lot of things in this. And this is again a little unstable. Okay, you download the zip file and I will just paste it. I have all the versions of Selenium with me over here. So this is the latest one, 3.4.0. So if you extract it, this will have the main jar file. This is the jar file for Selenium. Okay, right. Guys, just 1 minute. I need to delete few files in my D drive where the recording is happening. Just a minute. Alright. So this is the main jar file of Selenium. And this is made by the people who made Selenium. And this has got a lot of inbuilt things. And in the lib, there are other jar files. So you need to include these jar files in your project to make the project Selenium enabled. Okay, right. So out here, you right click on the project and you go to the properties and you go to Java build path and go to the libraries tab. When you go to the libraries tab, you will have the option to add the external jars. Okay, there will be 4 tabs over here. Go to the library tab. You click on this, go to the current version 3.4, include this main jar file, client combined 3.4, and don't forget to include the jar files under the lib directory. Include them as well. Click on OK. And you will have this section reference libraries generated. Inside it you will see all the jar files. Okay. Now your project is Selenium enabled. Selenium is not installed. There is no exe. You can use the features of Selenium, the inbuilt classes of Selenium, just like I use the date class. But to use these classes, okay, you need to know object-oriented programming. These are all the classes in Selenium in the documentation. You need to know how to read this documentation. So the next thing is that I am going to talk about object-oriented programming, and I will show you few classes out here in this API, in Selenium API. Right. So let's have a break of 5 minutes